Have you ever wondered if you or someone you know has an emotionally distant personality? It's a question that many of us have probably asked at one point or another. Emotional distance is a personality trait that can make it difficult for individuals to connect with others on an emotional level. It's not about being cold or uncaring, but rather, it's a coping mechanism that some people use to protect themselves from emotional distress. Understanding the signs of emotional distance is crucial, not only for self-awareness but also for building stronger, more fulfilling relationships with those around us. It can help us empathize with others and offer them the support they may need. But what does emotional distance look like? How can we recognize it in ourselves or in others? Well, there are certain signs that can serve as indicators. So, without further ado, let's delve into the 15 signs that suggest someone might have an emotionally distant personality. The first sign of an emotionally distant personality is a lack of empathy. This can be seen in individuals who struggle to understand or share the feelings of others. They may come across as cold or indifferent, unable to grasp the emotional nuances of situations, leading to misinterpretations or misunderstandings. The second sign is difficulty expressing emotions. People with an emotionally distant personality often find it challenging to articulate their feelings. It's not that they don't experience emotions, but rather they struggle to convey them effectively. This could manifest as a stoic demeanor or an inability to comfort others in distress. The third sign is a preference for solitude. While solitude in moderation can be healthy, those with an emotionally distant personality may exhibit an excessive desire for it. They might prefer their own company, spending copious amounts of time alone, often leading to social isolation and potentially even alienation. These are just the first 3 signs. Let's move on to the next ones. The fourth sign is an avoidance of emotional intimacy. This isn't about shying away from commitment, but rather a reluctance to share feelings or personal experiences. People with emotionally distant personalities might seem to keep a part of themselves hidden, making it difficult to connect on a deeper level. Next, we have the 5th sign, which is an uncomfortable reaction to others' emotions. This might present as a lack of empathy or a struggle to respond appropriately when others express strong feelings. They may seem detached or even dismissive when confronted with emotional situations. The 6th sign is a tendency to intellectualize feelings. Instead of acknowledging and processing their emotions, they might try to analyze or rationalize them away. This intellectualization serves as a shield, keeping their emotions at arm's length. The 7th sign is a lack of interest in others' lives. This isn't about being rude or unkind, but more about a lack of emotional investment in the experiences and feelings of others. We're halfway through the list. Let's continue. The 8th sign is a tendency to keep others at arm's length. This often manifests as a reluctance to let people in, both emotionally and physically. It's like living behind a glass wall, where you can see and interact with others, but there's always a barrier in place. The 9th sign is being self-reliant to a fault. While independence is generally a positive trait, an emotionally distant person may take it to the extreme, avoiding help or support even when it's needed. They often view asking for help as a sign of weakness, which further fuels their isolation. The 10th sign is difficulty forming close relationships. This can be friendships, romantic relationships, or even familial bonds. It's not that they don't want to connect, but rather, they struggle to maintain these connections due to their emotional distance. Lastly, the 11th sign is a tendency to suppress emotions. This person might seem calm and composed, but in reality, they are bottling up their feelings, leading to potential emotional outbursts. As we move on to the final signs, you may be seeing a pattern here. The 12th sign is a tendency to avoid vulnerability. This often manifests as a resistance to open up about personal emotions or experiences. The person may seem guarded, constantly on the defensive, and unwilling to let their emotional walls down. Moving on to the 13th sign, it's a noticeable tendency to be aloof or detached. This could present as a lack of interest or involvement in situations that typically elicit strong emotions. The individual may often appear distant or uninterested even in the face of significant events or experiences. The 14th sign is a preference for superficial relationships. Deep connections may seem threatening or overwhelming, leading the person to favor casual, non-intimate interactions over meaningful relationships. Finally, the 15th sign is a fear of rejection or abandonment. This could stem from past experiences or insecurities, resulting in the person's aversion to close relationships as they fear being left or hurt. So those are the 15 signs of an emotionally distant personality. But what can you do if you recognize these signs in yourself or someone else? Recognizing these signs is the first step towards addressing emotional distance. As we've journeyed through this video, we've uncovered 15 signs that may indicate an emotionally distant personality. From a reluctance to express feelings, and a tendency to avoid deep conversations, to a preference for solitude, and a difficulty in maintaining close relationships, these signs can manifest in many different ways. But why is it crucial to address emotional distance? Well, human beings are inherently social creatures. We thrive on connection, understanding, and empathy. Emotional distance can create barriers to these essential elements of human interaction, leading to feelings of isolation and misunderstanding. It can inhibit personal growth and prevent us from forming meaningful relationships. So what can we do if we spot these signs in ourselves or in others? Our first recommendation is to seek professional help. Psychologists, therapists, and counselors are trained to help individuals navigate their emotional landscape. They can provide the tools and strategies needed to understand and manage emotional distance. Our second recommendation is to practice emotional intelligence. This involves recognizing your own emotions and those of others, understanding how they affect your thoughts and actions, and responding to them in an appropriate and healthy way. Emotional intelligence can help us to build stronger connections, improve our communication skills, and foster a greater understanding of ourselves and others. Finally, we encourage you to foster deeper connections with others. This might involve opening up about your feelings, engaging in meaningful conversations, or simply spending quality time with loved ones. Remember, vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength. It allows us to connect on a deeper level and promotes mutual understanding and empathy. Remember, recognizing these signs is not a diagnosis, but it can be a helpful step towards understanding and addressing emotional distance. Thanks for watching.